Hi everyone, welcome back to our Dungeon of the Endless members only run. We're moving on to floor 5 now. Last episode we got a lot of research done, a lot of really good research. We got very lucky and we got Pepper Spray 3 and then right after Pepper Spray 4, so we upgraded that to its max rank. All of the minor modules, actually all the modules that can be upgraded really only go up to 4, so 4 is the max level. So we have max level pepper spray. We have the best pepper spray we will ever be able to get. So that's pretty great. And apparently we got a electromagnetic pulse, but it's not actually anything to deactivate. So, works for me. Alright, so we're heading here, and this is a dust machine. You can spend 30 industry, which I just did there, and you have a chance to get a lot of dust. Unfortunately there, it just blew up on us and didn't give me any dust, so that was just a waste of our industry. And then I got another unfortunate door opening spawn, which was the stupid Silic Bulldozer, is their official name. I usually just call them Crystal Golems, but yeah, those guys, they'll primarily focus on all your major modules, although he just kind of lumbered over to our crystals since we didn't have any in his way. Really, that's the biggest issue I see, is like, if you have these big guys and they're spawning really close to your crystal room, there's only so much you can do. I finally decided to take Hikensha off of her operating duty, at least for now, until we have a little bit more of a stable plan going on here, because we can't really afford to lose a lot of dust like that. And I level up Jolary a couple more times just to keep her nice and strong and taking care of business if we have any more nasty monster spawns. But you know, we make do, and there's Kip Cannons, and I decided to go for Industry Generator 2. Yes, because that's going to help us in the long run, because we're going to consistently be getting more industry per door that we open with that, and nothing better than more industry. You really need it. There's never a time that you don't need industry. Alright, this is something really bad about the Silic Bulldozers, though, is that they can punch out the crystals, and you can't actually repair these things since they're endless artifacts. They're kind of beyond your comprehension to repair. You can repair the stuff that you build on your own, but if it's something that occurs naturally within the drop, which is, I think, pretty much exclusively the artifacts, the big crystalline monuments that you use for researching stuff, that's the only thing you have to worry about, aside from your own stuff, but they can't be repaired. So obviously if they keep taking beatings like that, then they're gonna break. And if you did put science points into them to research a new module and it breaks before that research is complete, you don't get it back. It's just gone. You know, all that science you spent is gone. You don't get the thing that you were trying to research. All around a bad time. And that big triangle thing with tiny legs we just killed was a Silic Zoner. Whereas the bulldozers will only focus on major modules, like that science crater we just made. The Silic Zoners focus on the minor modules, your defenses. So if we put neurostuns in a room, they'll automatically start attacking it. And that can be really bad later on. They're kind of the main counter to our defensive parameters that we create, because if they destroy our defensive setup, then that's going to allow all of the other monsters to flood through, which is just really bad news for us. So we found the exit, but as I said, one of the coolest things about this game is that it deals... Oh, Max just died. It deals in a very kind of cool way. It's got this sort of big separation going where usually in a roguelike there's this thing called the hero trap where, you know, you want to explore every single room and you want to see everything possible, and that usually will end up killing you, you know, because you don't necessarily have the resources or the survivability to, you know, go through every single room, fight every single enemy, you know, survive every single encounter that's available to you. So you kind of have to know to get out when the getting's good. is sort of the essential idea. In this game, it actively rewards you to stay for longer and open more of the doors, because the more doors you open, the more risk you expose yourself to enemy waves, the more resources you're going to get. So there's really a direct correlation between the more you're risking yourself and staying and exploring versus, you know, getting out early. Because if you get out early, you may be screwing yourself for later on. And right here, I'm just letting this guy soak in the tear gas. You can see it's very slow, but when you're fighting a huge horde of enemies, the best thing about tear gas is that it does the exact same amount of damage to every single enemy. Even if you have 100 guys in one room, if they're slowly walking through with the neurostun in there, and they're taking as much damage as that one single guy was taking, they're all taking that amount of damage. So even if they do make it through the room, if they all have like a tiny sliver, your heroes can pretty much cut them all down in one shot. And that is really a lifesaver more than anything else. Right there, that's a very interesting major module, the emergency generator. It basically functions as emergency generator. You know, if you don't have enough dust to power a room, you can pay an exorbitant amount of industry and place it in whatever room has a major module slot in it, and it'll power that room. You can put defenses in there, but if the emergency generator breaks, then that room is going to be powered down, including all of the modules inside of it. Basically, if this room wasn't powered right now, nothing would be working in it. The neurostuns wouldn't be taking any effect, the tear gas wouldn't be, and the pepper spray wouldn't either. So, it is very important that you power the rooms that you want to defend. That's why you can't just go placing modules everywhere. The game actually won't let you put modules in an unpowered room. It needs to at least have the capability to be powered in order to have modules placed into it with your current dust setup. If you have extra dust, the game will automatically power that place on, or that room on, when you try and place stuff into it. But right there, we just got Tear Gas 4, which is very, very nice. The game's been pretty good to us with our research endeavors. So we've already got some really cool stuff going on. But right here, you're seeing firsthand these Silic Zoners and the pretty nasty effects that they have on all of our stuff. I think we might lose that Neurostun down on the bottom. Nope, we actually managed to fix everything. Or managed to save everything. So Joe Larry's gonna fix all that stuff, and we actually have a Silic Bulldozer just sitting down there because he's been brainwashed. So I ever finish that off just to finish off the turn. You'll notice that Joe Larry fixes things a lot more slowly during the combat phases. Basically, in the in-between phases, everything speeds up like tenfold. When you're actually in battle, things go a lot slower. You know, the game slows things down to make it more balanced for, combat. So you can't just fix everything on the fly. If you need to fix something, you're gonna have to spend like a good long period of time unless you have really good repair skills. And there actually is a passive perk that some characters have that allows them to have more wit when repairing items. So even during a combat phase, those particular characters with that perk would be able to fix things rather quickly. Did I explain the stales? I think I did. The rotating crystal things, yeah, basically they can have positive or negative effects. This one in particular is weak crystal. A lot of the time they actually have positives and negatives to them. Sometimes they're just positive, sometimes just negative, but they really range. That one in particular we got is weak crystal. I think what weak crystal does is it makes our crystal a lot more, weak to damage. Basically its defense is lowered, so if anything gets to it, it's going to take more damage from every hit than it normally would. But in exchange, I think it might weaken monsters or make our heroes more powerful. So as long as you make sure to do as well as you can to prevent that, then you're more or less okay. I just really like to make the comment right now that the soundtrack to this game is wonderful. It's really great, really ambient. It's calming, but like the game has an amazing flow to know, when to let you know that something urgent and panicky is happening, and when you can kind of, explore at your leisure. And it's got this very mysterious tone to it. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of, but God, it's just really fantastic. It's got that great, sci-fi feel to it. Just a lot of fun. And already we have Neurostun Module 4 up for research, so we're gonna do that ASAP. Because if you think these guys are crawling now with Neurostun 4, they're not even gonna be crawling. They're gonna be like inching, like agonizingly inching forward. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but still, it's fabulous when you just watch a horde of enemies running through a room with Tear Gas 4 or Neurostun 4, and they're slowly being drained of all of their vitals, and then they just explode on the spot, and you haven't even touched them, they haven't even gotten close to you. It's very satisfying. It's such a passive combo, but like it's really kind of entertaining to watch enemies' health bars tick down as they go through, especially when it's just like hundreds of enemies. The crystal phase, when you have Tear Gas and Neurostun, is probably one of the most entertaining parts of this game. Just watching huge hordes of enemies for like a good 5 minutes until the game starts like memory leaking and the game starts lagging because there's so many enemies just walking into the dungeon. This game does actually, at the moment, have sort of a memory leak issue going on, I think. I'm pretty sure they're going to patch it in the near future, because they are actively working on the game. I think they have they're going to work on stabilizing the multiplayer mode, because this does have multiplayer to it, which is pretty cool. I've played it a couple times, and you can have a lot of fun. It's still the base game, but, it's more or less the social interaction of strategizing with another person. You have the input of two people rather than just one. Two minds are better than one, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so aside from that, though, I think there are going to be add-ons, new content, new ships, maybe new heroes. I don't know. Don't treat anything that I'm saying as like official anything, because I'm pretty out of the loop as far as the Endless franchise goes. I'm really pretty new to these games. Dungeon of the Endless I've played pretty extensively, but even still, I'm not all that experienced yet. I just find the world and the lore and everything very interesting. And the funny thing is, Endless Legend and Endless Space are both 4X strategy games. I never play games that complex. I just feel like they go completely over my head, but the world building is just of such a good quality in these games. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Just watching that is so satisfying, I gotta tell you. But yeah, I'm not usually into 4X games. Like, I feel like they're sort of like Risk, like the complexity of the board game Risk times like 20, with all the screens and the micromanagement. But honestly, everything that I've seen on Endless Legend, I know it's probably more complex and maybe not beginner friendly, but like, just for how much I've enjoyed this game and how much it's familiarized me with a lot of the core concepts of their universe, I'd kind of like to try it out just to see if I can get into it, because I feel like knowing the world and knowing the lore, I'd be a lot more apt to get into it than, say, something I don't know as well. But I don't know, if any of you guys play Endless Legend, please let me know if it's something that you'd recommend for like a super strategy game newbie like myself might like. I'll probably try it out anyways, regardless, but but feel free to let me know, or if you have an alternative that may be a better starter before I try to go straight into Endless Legend. But I'm just saying, Endless Legend looks really cool. Anyways, so I'm gonna stay for a little bit of an extended period of time in this dungeon, just because I want to watch the fruits of our labors. There's really no benefit to doing this, at least in our current situation. I don't know. Really, the only reason I stick here and do this is because I spent all of the industry building this stuff. I want to see it work to its fullest capacity before moving on. And right here, we're actually getting a lot of Silic zoners spawning, so... and Silic, I guess, supporters? I don't know what those red crystal things are called, but they're called a pain in my ass. They do AoE damage, and they're just not a lot of fun. But, yeah, as you can see, they're slowly breaking down all of my defenses. So even Tear Gas and Narrow Stun is not a be-all, end-all strategy. You still really have to, you have to fight for your victories. It isn't just, you know, sunshine and roses once we research everything up to level 4. But that said, it is very, very nice to have all this stuff. It's sort of a lifesaver. As you can see, just this huge parade of enemies, just ridiculous hordes upon armies, slowly advancing on our position. It's enough to make you pee yourself a little. If I let these guys get into this room, we would have been completely screwed. But I just blow them up all at once by advancing to the next level. You gotta love that. So that's that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Next time, it's gonna be floor 6. So, take care, and until then, I'll see you guys later.